Yeah,
So
I
now,
fucking wish we had cuddle buddies out here, but I'm in fucking India of all places, fam. That's just like non-existent out here, tragically.
yeah, it's definitely fun.
Quick
I like.
question. In
You guys are
regards
all
to
Mhm.
bondage.
hedonistic.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Say you're all heathens. That's it.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm
So,
a good
Like,
Christian man. I fuck in the
um,
missionary position with eye
fam, like
contact. That's all I do.
the
God
strangest
bless the
thing that
women.
like the strangest thing that like I seen about like a month ago now. This dude who wanted me to like take needles and pierce his nipples with them over and over, and I thought he was just beaming at first, but then I like went through his profile. He has pictures of his nipples with like staple pins going through them. Like that shit is too far,
Yeah,
even
it's
for
like
me.
needle play. There's people that are into it.
Yeah.
I cannot do that. Like even bloodletting's like okay to me, but if you're right, but needle play, I don't know, dude. It's
No,
too much for me.
There's a girl who's in the Fat Life, like in the community, who had her mouth sewn shut.
Whoa,
dude.
Oh my
Yeah.
god,
that's
what
too
the
far.
fuck?
That's way
Yeah,
too far.
that's wild.
I can't do that little stuff. Fuck that.
Yeah,
So,
that's too far for me too, but I've seen that shit though.
Yeah, no, a
Mm.
lot of stuff on FetLife is like there's I mean, again, I'm not gonna kink shame or anything like that, but like it to me it's like excessive. Like there's you know what I mean like you know the diaper thing, hey, again, to each their own, you know, different folks, different strokes. But I've seen a chick literally just like in a tub and piss and she's like wearing a diaper and I'm like, oh, okay, well let me just not be on this. There's like an app called Field, and I'm like, okay, well this looks tame compared to FetLife where there's people with like bruises on them, and it's just like it seems like there's like an underlying, you know, issue. Like maybe there's like a past of like sexual assault or something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of these people are trying to
Yeah,
recover, are trying to go through therapy from their
right.
sexual trauma, and then other people are like concerned with one-upmanship, where it's like, oh,
Mm.
I'm kinkier than you, I'm kinkier than you. Look what I did. That's some of that exists too.
competition. Nice. Awesome. So real quick. God, this sounds terrible. Sorry. Okay, two things real quick. So is rigging a form of like bondage? Is that what that is?
Yes,
Mhm.
shibari, Japanese rope bondage. The rigger is the person who ties, and the rope bunny is the person who gets tied.
Okay, so second part of that question. Is there actual like sex in part of that, or is it just the bondage?
It just depends on you if you want to do it. Like with me, there isn't sex involved because I'm just into the craft
Oh yeah, you're in a
itself.
class. You're
Well,
There
I'm into
certainly
the I'm
can be, though.
it
I
can
mean,
be. Yeah, it just depends on the person. I don't
what's
get turned
common
on by it.
practice? Is that even askable?
hmm.
I don't know how to determine that.
Wait, what was the question?
Like what would you consider as common practice with rigging? Does sex follow in that community, or is it just strictly like the rigging aspect of the bondage and like the techniques and type of rope and etc.?
There's kind of like two. I mean, which one is more prevalent? I couldn't really say. I think that like there are like a lot of people that will just sort of use rope as a form of like restraint, and they'll learn like kind of basic, like the basic shit is, maybe they'll learn how to like hog tie someone, or um you know how to like effectively like make, yeah, just like basic restraint to like maybe
Mhm.
a bedpost or some shit like that, right?
And then
um
you could suspend as well.
oh, right, but I don't think that this category of people would be one to do like suspensions so much.
Right. Yeah, that's what I
But like I
wonder
think that
too.
like there's like fast functional ties, and then there's like ones that are more elaborate and decorative for like the sort
Yeah.
of part
And
of
I
it.
think and I think those people are called mechanics, perhaps, and that's what I would be more. I'm more of the elaborate, pretty
Technique,
tie,
the technique of it, yeah.
the technique person. So, and I'm with her though. I don't know how prevalent the sex stuff is in each one because it's hard to say. But I would probably be more of the technical person.
Cool. Yeah, no, sorry. That was just that was just a question so I could absorb some knowledge because that's still I still don't like understand. No, I shouldn't say that. I just was never sure if that led to sex or if it was just like the aspect of the art of it, right? Where you turn a sexual act into art type shit, right? So, type situation. Oof, language. Sorry.
Well, I think that it's kind of the case with like most types of like kinks or like whatever BDSM that like obviously some of it does require sex in some fashion, but like there are a lot of like particular things where you'll have people sort of dabbling in it or doing it as more of a like to spice things up during sex sort of thing. And I think that that's like more common just because more people will end up, like there are just more people that might try something out in a cursory way or like at a sort of in a casual way or whatever.
Like biting.
And maybe they'll like it, but they're not going to take it to like its extreme or like to the fullest extent because they're not really trying to like do all that, right? They're just still trying to get off and then like, be done with it. But then when you get into like more I don't know, dedicated or committed like BDSM circles, you're going to find more instances of people who they get some form of gratification from doing it, but it's not like they're having sex as a part of it. Like, think any sort of like dominatrix, like a lot of the times dominatrixes, they don't have sex with their clients, right? They're just doing things because they know that there's some sort of like pleasure, gratification, or whatever that their clients might get. But it's not like there's going to be any sort of sexual contact. It's all going to be some sort of like physical discipline or something like that, right?
Like I think one of the things to talk about is power exchange. That's a big deal there.
Yes, please touch on that. Actually, at least my question. Please go.
Yeah, so like so it could be sexual, right? But a lot of times, like she said, it's just like it could be a psychological thing, and sometimes at the base of it, especially with BDSM, it's a power exchange where you're, you know, transferring power from one party to another type of thing. Um, and so like some people get off
I
on
fucked
that.
up. I fucked up so hard.
Oh,
What?
Okay.
go
Go
ahead,
on.
Anthony. I think that
Good
was a
job.
misspeak.
Sorry, my bad.
Sir.
I'm playing Elden Ring right now. I fucked up.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
we were all like, what happened?
I thought you were getting
I'll be
spanked or
playing
something,
Tarkov.
man. What the
I
hell?
saw the mic was off. I'm not I was
Yeah.
Yeah, and so some people get into that, the power exchange itself. And I think in the FetLife app there's a group, well, at least in Arizona, I don't know what it is on A, but there's like we have the Arizona Power Exchange called Apex. And so like there's typically in FetLife, there's a big one or two big organizations in the area that has like a slew of all these different experiences so that you can like be introduced to the most I guess cleaned up corporate organized and safe and way to expose people to all these different aspects of the kink life.
So basic shit. In other words,
No, I wouldn't say basic. I would just say
basic
like
is
more.
okay. It's a fine word.
No,
Basic's not a bad word.
I'm not saying the reason I'm not saying basic, but I'm just saying like more
Entry
so
level.
introduction. So it could be entry level, but more so is more like you're going to have clean. So like if you go to a dungeon through Apex, it will be clean. It'll be sanitized. You know, they're gonna make sure that people aren't doing shit that's gonna cause issues. So it's like the guardrails are up, I guess I would say
Right.
more so.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And like the people that might be doing the sort of leading the way are going to be people that one are, trustworthy, as far as anyone can tell, right? As far, like they're not going to totally disregard your boundaries or things like that. They're going to check in with you. They're going to be very attentive to like what's going on, as well as like be people that are good at, sort of showing one the ropes, no pun intended.
I
So
imagine like things.
empathetic individuals.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sympathetic, but also know the rules, because there's like rules with consent and the rules of like how a scene, the anatomy of a scene. Like, so like if you can go, so like if something's happening, are you allowed to go in? How do you check to see if you're allowed to enter? Well, how to establish consent? And then aftercare, there's like an actual procedure. So like it's people who would be more expertise on those type of things.
I
So
imagine
this
they,
is a place.
Yes.
you know, like
Oh.
dungeon-ish
I
type
mean,
Yeah, I
with
mean,
Apex though, I'm talking about, but like, so like there's multiple places, but like there's typically a big organization, one or two, I'd say, in the area that's like the official mofos, like with actual money and doing shit like super like organized and like that.
like event plan at like locations, be able to set up like gear there and like get that like and like yeah, it might not just be a singular like large location. It can be like a couple
Yeah.
dungeons, but hosting also some events.
There'll be
in
somebody with like a
areas.
501c3 like in their area typically.
So like a location that allows vendors, or these people produced by the location?
it's gonna be something where like you can, there are places that are like the big difference is like things that are advertised like in a way that's accessible to whomever if you look hard enough, and things that are only advertised by word of mouth, right? So like um and usually you have to sort of start with whatever is like advertised some way publicly, or like through whether it's through FetLife or whatever it is. um like you have to kind of start there. It's almost like servers inside servers, right? You go into the main server, there's going to be a lot of like sort of more stringent like rules as far as moderation and what's enforced and things like that, and like how far you can go with certain topics, whatever. There's things that are just off limits, things that are like just not going to be tolerated behavior wise. And then like maybe you'll sort of find a group of people that like you vibe with and shit like that. You'll get invited to like things that are only, need to know basis type of thing, right? Like you're like you just have to know somebody to like maybe it's at someone's house or some shit like that, right? And then there's obviously going to be a lot less in terms of like safety measures in place, right?
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, there's like definitely like classes you can go to like where I live, obviously.
Is there okay, you know what? How do I do this without self snitching?
You have more luck in cities though. Like you're not gonna have as much luck, bumfuck nowhere.
True.
There might be like people doing parties, but it's gonna be fucking
Yeah, I mean, I think like it's always a good place to start with like a class, like because that's a very, very controlled situation. Like you don't even need to know what you like or what you can also like go to a munch, see how it's like.
Yes,
I was thinking of like
munches.
messaging. Like if I ever did that, I'd like message like a couple people before, be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to this. Think about going there." Or something
Yeah.
like that.
But like, to go with
Yeah.
what she said, munches are like that's a great point, honestly. You don't even have to let people know, because munches
Yeah.
are like the perfect avenue.
It seems so lame though. Like most munches seem like they'd be so fucking lame.
Okay, sorry. What's a munch?
Bad opinion.
No, I
It's
actually don't know what it is.
It's like a meetup, and no sex happens there. It's just a meetup of people that are interested in some sort of, kink, like maybe you're in some shared group or whatever. And it's just sort of to like meet more people and then go from there. Like it's a way to sort of like make new connections with people and maybe find someone who's into the same shit you're into.
It's
So it's the
people.
bondage college.
I would say
It's just
it's
you
a
just meet up and
meetup.
chill kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a meetup, like general meetups, but this is where a meetup specifically where the kink community comes together.
But it's usually like
It's,
a public.
it's the BDSM council essentially.
But it's usually at like a
I mean,
public place, like a restaurant or something like
yeah.
that. So it's like going to
Yes.
be like
Yeah.
people who are comfortable like displaying that in front of like others. So you
Well,
don't get like
It might not even be displayed,
yeah.
honestly. Sometimes it's not
Oh.
even displayed.
It's not displayed, but
yeah.
you're like
Maybe.
willing to be like hang around and like associate and be like, okay, yeah, I'm like with this group. So I don't know. I feel like the dynamics. I think you'd get like a better variety of people like going to like a dungeon or something like that, or like I guess like I don't know. Munchins seem meh for some reason.
Why
I'm
are they
gonna be
actually called
honest. For
munchins
people,
though?
for
Like, where's
individuals
the
Just
like
lunch.
me,
I'll have to
if you were
go
to
at some point,
say
I guess.
It's just
lunch
lunch, right?
Yeah.
compared to a
And
dungeon,
then pine.
dog, I like you're shutting me out at the word dungeon. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, like usually it's like okay if like just like large hangout space that there's like people doing like activities. Usually there's like people hang around a lot.
Yes,
Okay.
I didn't understand why why just like the BDSM community calls them like munchins. Like it just seems kind of random, right? Like I'm not sure if there's much history to this or something.
I
Well, I mean,
actually
I think it's
asked
just
that
supposed to be
question.
something that's innocuous, but like if you know, you know.
Yeah,
Wow.
I just have a hard. I have hard biases. Okay, sorry. That's all.
If I could throw out like just a person that doesn't know anything of the scene but has a partner that's like getting into it, if you tell me a munch, I'm thinking of a meeting during lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
basically, yeah.
well, I
Yeah,
mean, that's
usually
It
it's
is
like
typically
that's
at
during the
what it is,
day.
yeah.
Like
If
that's where
you
my brain goes.
I mean, that's close. That's pretty much what it is, kind of like.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
afternoon
just like
type
getting
of
brunch with people that like
yeah.
may be into the same types of stuff you are.
I actually was thinking about the other definition that's become popular recently. I don't know if you guys know the rapper Ice Spice. Her song is
Yeah.
Munch. Yeah, like so for instance, like Munch would be for her would be like a dude that's just eating the pussy and just leaving.
Yeah, that's the 90s definition, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, pussy eating could be
So I guess there
associated
is
with
some
munching.
eating happening.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
munch. Like a munch would have. Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to
Right.
actually ask somebody about the historicity of the title Munch, and I wasn't able to uncover anything.
Because
Yeah,
lunch
I'm
and
not
brunch
sure.
are a thing, so why not make it a munch?
Yeah, just wondering, like, why not just call it like, yeah, I'm gonna meet up a bunch of like community friends for lunch or brunch. Like,
Yeah, like I
why is
think
it
it's
bunch in
supposed to be
particular?
able to sort of blend.
I see. I thought it was just a bunch of people just munching on each other. For a
Just
second.
munching.
I
All
mean,
right.
when I hear when
People
No,
who
it
have gone to
is.
munches? What's your
It,
experience?
Wait, sorry, what?
my
Anyone? Has
my
anyone gone to
experience,
munch?
I've been
Yeah,
to
yeah.
a lot of munches.
Okay,
My
yeah.
experience is that
General.
they're basically just like meetups, but you just got, I guess, more those type of people there. And so like perhaps you can talk about sex more freely than you would at a typical meetup, and perhaps they're going to be a little bit more awkward. I feel like the people in the fetish community are a little bit more socially awkward than the general
Dude,
populace.
really?
Yeah.
Like, I had the
Yeah, that's what I
opposite,
was
like a
gonna.
reaction
That's
kind
what
of
I was
thing,
gonna
where
say.
everyone was like granted, like in their like 30s kind of thing, but in everyone that like I've been in, they're always like super chill and like very welcoming kind of thing, like very sociable, I guess is the word, right?
Um, yeah, I'd
But it's
say
probably
they're
just very regional, I
welcoming
guess.
and social. They're somewhat sociable, but like
Yeah.
I guess myself, I consider myself highly sociable and like more of a networking kind of person. And to me, it's like where they're sociable in this environment and not necessarily in other environments. So like this is their
I kind of get
safe
that.
place type of thing.
like they know their own jam enough to know when to just watch instead of talk. All right, all right. 'Cause I
That's
was
been
about
my
to say like my
experience.
girl is very verbal. God damn is she verbal. She is a social butterfly. She'll find a stranger in the middle of a bus stop and become friends by the end of the day. So with her getting into
Ace.
this
Hell yeah.
game, it's kind of like I don't know, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I meet people like that at Munches, but that's not the majority. It's like definitely more rare in my experience.
You guys are killing me over here. I'm fucking stuck in India right now. But this shit is, oh my god, it's so fucking rare.
what do you mean? You have beautiful women out there. I'm sure you could network enough.
very very few kinky folks out here, and the ones who are kinky are staplers in my nipples. Crazy, like I don't
Oh,
know
they're
about that. You know?
oh my god, no. They're
Awesome.
actually like insane. Yeah. Oh god. That's a horrible dynamic.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
I mean,
there's
they're like
plenty of
actual.
kinky Indian people. I know that. There has
They're
Oh
like
yeah,
they're like actually
fuck.
fairly chill, but it's just the kinks that they want kind of thing are the things that are limits for me, and it's just very unfortunate. And the
Yeah.
sampling pool is so much smaller, and I do have a bit of a headcanon theory about like sexual repression by like a religiosity in like certain countries, right? That leads to people being either very vanilla or very kinky, and there's less in between kind of thing. You know?
Because
If you're
India
going-
isn't against sex. They're like
Well,
there's like
But they are.
are they
there's
against sex?
definitely
Yeah,
it's
like
definitely
quite a
not
bit.
it's not like sex positive.
Oh, yeah,
I would
exactly.
imagine
What do you guys
like,
mean by sex? Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
no.
Like while we like do have the Kama Sutra and that long history of like all that like tantric shit, right? In the modern era, it is not looked upon favorably. Like you are like a whore kind of thing, or like who shall be burned at
my
the stake and shit. You know, like all
God.
kinds of messed up shit, like really bad shit.
That's unfortunate.
Mhm.
That's hard. That is
Yeah.
actually damn. Okay.
Pretty
Okay, so
crazy.
I
by
mean,
sex you mean like
helps
having
with the
multiple
kinky things.
partners?
Helps. It
No,
gets
no,
even there.
like pretty much if you're unmarried, like having sex is like an easy no, and if you are married, outside of like procreation, you're like haram. You know, it's like very very like grounded in like those traditional roots. If you ever
You know,
if
like
you-
Dubai,
like,
right?
you're fucked.
Like, there's people who go to Dubai with like sex toys on them, right? And they get arrested for it.
Yeah, like in the UAE, it's even crazier. Like it's fuck.
No
Yeah,
way,
it's fucked.
really?
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can get arrested
like-
for trying to take
I
a sex
wonder
toy
what-
into
I wonder
Dubai.
what their security is thinking. You're not gonna export your degeneracy here.
No. They actually they
Bad.
take it serious. Like they're really strict about like shit like that. It's fucked.
Yeah. Actually, this was a case of doctor friends of mine, right? Like in the UAE, who have literally gone out of the way to like fight back against this by basically advising people who are there, that like if you do find yourself pregnant, which a few of his patients were, right, to like not like actually announce this to like anyone else kind of thing, try to get the abortion nice and discreetly and come back, because if you're found out to have had sex outside of marriage kind of thing and then have a baby out of wedlock in the UAE, you'll be deported and possibly face like criminal prosecutions. Because it is literally against the law to like have sex outside of marriage. Usually, it's not really enforced, but in this kind of case, they can, because you got pregnant while like not married, right?
Oh,
So in these niche
damn.
cases, you will get fucked for it. But yeah, it's really grand.
Claim fucking
obviously, like
immaculate
it's
conception.
obviously like it's less likely to get reported and shit because you know there needs to be a third witness. There needs to be a witness to the act.
Exactly.
You know, but yeah, it is pretty rough like out there.
But I mean, dating is still a thing, right? And you see,
It's a thing, but it's very platonic until you're married.
Yeah, that is actually the best way to like phrase it. It's like platonic dating is like the like stuff that people accept.
Imagine imagine having to go for like a 3-year relationship with no sex.
Mhm.
And like making out in public
Hey.
is already no. Holding hands is getting better. like
Oh
as I was coming
shit!
up, it's
Yeah,
gotten
that's right.
better,
You
but it's
can't
still bad.
have like public displays of affection either, right?
Yeah,
That's
like
good.
it's kind of allowed. Like mostly, it sounds fucked up to say, but if you're white, right, you can kind of get away with it. But if you're like Filipinos, then fam, you are fucked. Like they do not like Asians. Like period, right? I'm just saying.
What? That's so
Like-
weird.
Well, yeah, straight up. Oh fuck, I just messed up my kind. But yeah, like if you're the wrong kind of Arab, if you're Southeast Asian, you're just kind of fucked, you know. But if you're South African, it's like a whole new level of fuck now.
So it's the sort of thing where it's like enforced upon people that are sort of like when they just want to enforce some, you know, fine print rule against them for the sake of like bigotry or something.
or
Well,
just
I
talking
mean,
back or
like-
not giving them the respect they feel they deserve. That sounds like
Like-
low-key America and getting jammed, baby.
But like in the actual rule, like it should be for everyone, right? But like how much it's enforced is basically down to like these other factors, which no one talks about. But it's so on the nose that like no one really like disagrees that this happens anymore, because it's become so common, you know. And for like the treatment in particular for South Africans, because now they're like the new generation of like immigrants coming over to the UAE, fam, they are treated even worse than we were, which is crazy to me. Like fuck me. Like holy shit, dude, like all Arabs do not fuck around with South Africans. Oh my god, it's crazy. But you know,
This is in the EU.
No,
no,
UAE.
yeah, United Arab Emirates.
Gotcha. Okay, sorry.
That's surprising.
Yeah, we developed our racism a bit better in the EU. No, just do it verbally and policy wise.
I'm always concerned about painting too grim of a picture where it does happen, but it's not like every single black person is just being lynched out there kind of thing. But you will see this, like if you spend 6 months there, you will more than likely see this happen at least once. Like I'd be putting like place money on that, basically.
It's so funny, or I don't know if it's funny or scary how something so far can sound as something as common as my outdoor, like down the block. You know what I mean? That's so they just jam them to jam them, and if they get them for something, they get them.
Well, no, I mean, like basically, if you're following the rules and stuff, and you're Indian or Filipino, you're like more than likely fine, right? But if you fuck up, kind of thing, you will be like treated more harshly than like if you were of a different race.
Yeah, like there's a lot less leeway. So,
Yeah, exactly. But
or
if you
like
follow the
turning the
rules and
other,
you're like
you know.
a good like family-oriented person, you're probably going to be a-okay, you know. Hence why like a bunch of people in the UAE like praise it so much, because if they follow the rules, they are treated absolutely fine. Maybe in hiring practice, there's a little bit more issues there if you're Indian, but that's its own thing. Anyway, about kinks. Where will we?
Kinks are based until there needs to be said.
Hell no.
But the kink community probably cares more about consent than like hookup people, like just an average hookup culture.
Dude, this is so fucking true. Oh my fucking god.
Wait, one more time.
People in the kink community probably care about consent and the comfort of the people they're fucking more than most people within like hookup culture.
Yeah.
Oh, 1,000,000%, absolutely. Because hookup culture is like 90% drunk fucks fucking each other.
Sure.
Sorry.
I mean, like I just mean like on average, like people involved in kink seem to be a bit more like concerned with like their partner's well-being rather than like the average person, where it's like, oh, you said yes, or we can fuck. Let's go. Goodbye.
I was actually quite
Kind of makes
surprised on this
sense, like,
server.
response of like, oh, you're, in a lot of cases doing something that you have to be like very attentive while you're doing it, because even if you get consent, like, it's understandable why someone might revoke consent if they like are in pain, like in a way that's not, what what you guys have agreed to, but like it's like oh, you're having a medical concern right now, like, whatever. There's that element, and then it's also just to begin with having to like be specific about what things you are okay with and what you're not okay with, instead of just like this like, oh yeah, sure.
Hey, Spooks, you're coming in and out. You want to say that one more time?
I'm sorry.
Was the end? Yeah, okay.
I was just saying that like it makes sense because you have like this sort of, to begin with, you're like parsing out what specific acts you're okay with and what you're not okay with, and like just getting much more comfortable discussing sexual things ahead of time, right?
From sexual sex is actually the best.
Yeah.
Well, as a newbie into the kink game like that, I'm just going to tell you this much right now. Apparently, yeah, the very, very interesting stuff. I'm just going to, oof. You know
well,
what?
I do pray for a day where the conversation about sex can be as simple as like, hey, do you want to fuck? Sure, let's go. Like, I hope the conversation eventually becomes like that comfortable at some point.
I often have to wonder, like, about like how guys predominantly have like the whole foot fetish thing, right?
That's so weird.
I'm like,
I won't lie. Like, I'm into like, I've got some kinks. Right, don't get me wrong. I have some kinks, but like fucking that, it goes to new levels for me.
Yeah, and like there's this weird overlap between that and anime, for whatever reason, like weebs fucking love feet, and of all the parts of the body to fetishize, right, the feet are the most alien stumps on the human body. Like there are so many more things. Like even the knee can be pretty fucking sexy, you know, like compared to the
So
fucking feet at least.
like okay, I see like the anime community, like Paul on 4chan, right?
Mhm.
You know, like they say it, but they probably don't believe it.
Right, it's one of those like ironic in things.
Yeah, I don't believe like that many people actually are into feet. I don't believe the overlap is that real.
Yeah. On the female side of things, I've been wondering if there is a parallel, because it probably is like sampling bias, right? But like, I swear there are too many women who have piss fetishes. I'm wondering like if this is like the
Actually
equivalent of thing.
true. I
Yeah,
know
it is,
too
right?
many
Both of
women that
those.
are into that, and I'm just like, hey,
That's an odd one, yeah.
like I can be open minded to some stuff, but
I can't. I cannot. That passion is rank. Ew.
When in
Yeah,
Rome.
like
I can't.
Like
I can't
I
get past
understand
like
it.
you know there's a I have very few limits, but like bodily like piss,
bodily
shit, vomit,
fluids.
etc. Those are all like a hard
Yeah,
no for
vomit.
me. But like the people that I've encountered who are into one or more of those things, include and as well as people that are into feet, a lot of times it's just sort of like the way in which that's like a mechanism for degradation, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
That's absolutely
So
fine to me. It's just like if they
It's-
want to like do things to my foot, then I'm like I'm really into this. But I mean, I guess if it's doing that much for you, fair enough. Like I'll kind of go with it, but not super into it. It's
well,
a
yeah,
little
but I
bit
mean, when you think
uncomfortable.
about it, it's like you know we I think like culturally or just sort of whatever, like a symbol of like submission to like bow
Yeah, I
down and
get you with
kiss
that.
someone's feet or something, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like yeah, eat my shit. Well, this is literally like mentally illness. Okay, that I have like that's where I have like just an innate hard line. It's just like
Oh,
So,
You know,
Funk, what you're saying is I can't ask you for a Cincinnati bow tie?
it is literally mental illness,
Crazy.
and
How is it
I
mental
think most
illness?
people with mental illness have played with their own poop. So you know,
Wait, how is it mental illness specifically?
vast majority of people who do display aspects of playing around with feces are mentally ill. That's that is actually like a characteristic of have like a serious mental illness. Okay.
Yeah, but like people with mental illness who are doing that aren't like exactly aware of it being fecal matter, right? The people who are engaging in the kink are doing it specifically because it's fecal matter.
Yeah, and they're mentally ill.
Or they're getting some money.
Well, no, the mentally illness part like doesn't really apply there, dude. If you're doing something because you're not aware of it, right? Then like that's different.
It's still played around with without thought.
So in the DSM, they'll call it a paraphilia, but that by itself is not a mental illness.
I mean, to be fair, you went by the DSM, nearly everybody in here would have about like 20 different diagnostics.
Yeah,
The diagnosis.
Yeah, no, that's bullshit.
Okay. The
You can like, oh wait, what do you think like the DSM is?
Diagnostic fucking manual for these mental illnesses, dude.
It's not just for mental illnesses.
Yes, but that's what it's mainly used for is from the American Psychiatric Association.
Yeah, sure, but not everything that's got a label is like a disorder or wrong, right? Most people
Yes, that's
in
what I
here
said.
will have a.
That's what I said. I said that would be
yeah,
considered a
he said it's like
paraphilia.
labeled as a paraphilia, but it's not
I
necessarily.
was just saying though, they just like most people in here will have like 20 diagnoses from that fucking book.
I mean,
If you went through like every one of them.
Paraphilia isn't necessarily a diagnosis. You don't get diagnosed with paraphilia.
Well, I mean, I think you're being a little pedantic. It just means that you
Anyway, yeah.
like there would be like several things that everyone.
Let it be
whether it's
known
a
that Therapist Society.
diagnostically, like you know, whether it's like a
Funky spooky.
clinically relevant thing or not, there are things that you know under.
So how would it be like mentally ill? Like,
Yeah,
what's
you're-
what's the
Are you siding
pathology
with
behind
shit
it?
eaters? Okay. Are you Zerf? Okay. You're siding with the shit eaters.
No, I'm just disagreeing with your statement that like if you play with shit sexually, that you're mentally ill.
Yep, and you're siding with shit eaters. Good job.
Side
Well,
with
no,
the
I mean,
shit
you
eaters.
need to have a
But-
counterpoint. You just can't put a one-liner.
No,
This isn't the 80s action film.
I'm just siding with like the reality of things. Not everyone who plays with shit is a
It plays
mentally ill
out. Yep.
person.
Yep.
Do you know who else plays with? Do you know who else plays with shit? Farmers.
Okay, but they're not fucking the fucking fields, Zeref. Okay, are you
Just don't
beaming?
play with
Is that what
play
you're
with
doing? You're
shit.
just
Slapping their
beaming?
dick on the fucking.
They play with shit.
They ain't slapping their dick in it. Okay.
Nah, but they are picking that shit up and throwing it at each other.
Yes, because it helps grow the grass. That they're
Throwing
always
shit at your coworker does not make the fucking grass grow. Cypher.
Yes, but it's funny. It's funny when you.
Oh, so you agree then? So you're
cowboy.
mentally ill for
but
throwing
we're
shit
talking
at
about
people. There
sexually
you go.
here. Y'all, come on, Zeref. Come on, baby.
Yeah. Are you
All right,
mentally
well,
ill
like
for
if-
throwing shit at your coworker?
If you throw shit at your coworker, you might not. Okay, it's not probably the best. Okay, you might be lumped in. Okay, that's fine.
Isn't
You
it
know, you're-
popular
you're-
with dudes to send like
Christ.
their massive shits to their friends as text messages? Isn't that a thing?
that's a weird thing actually.
It's a thing though, and that's what Zeref is
it's a-
getting at.
that's
What
a-
you're saying is having sex with poop. What he's saying is poop does not make you.
I'm just
handy.
taking him by his word. He said if you
I
play with
know.
Yeah. Whatever.
You guys are
But you
funny.
can't. Can you not conceive of a mentally healthy person who would engage in scat?
Nope.
Huh?
They
Huh?
come off as unhinged individuals that might need reintegration education.
To be fair, they're probably the people with those fetishes are probably the most successful people.
Yeah, I think that like when it gets to stuff like that, like yeah, obviously there's gonna be people that are like mentally ill that are just like doing what you're describing, but it's also like not exclusively people that are like unhinged or something. It's like I mean, like every kink, like there seems to be some element of it that's like, oh, okay, the kink itself being like in its own way a taboo behavior, then gets sort of linked to this general sense of like tabooness that we have around sex, right? Or like the like there being some degrading aspect of it. Like, I mean, if someone took a shit on me, like I can't think of something more degrading than that, right? Obviously, I wouldn't do it sexually or in any like I would never agree to that, but like if someone really wants to be fucking degraded, like that's kind of a fucking one-way ticket to getting there, right? Like
it's a very explicit way. It's like I can see it, but it's like, dude, it's like it shouldn't be like at all like prescription of like normality.
Yeah, I mean, you don't like it. That's fair. I mean, I don't like it, but
I mean,
I
they
wouldn't
need
say
to, like,
everyone who engages in it is like insane.
well, they need to like build their own communities. Okay,
They have their own community.
like imagine having a partner that expresses that. Okay,
Okay.
imagine that.
Is this a partner I just met or a partner I've been with my whole life and they finally feel comfortable sharing it with me?
Sharing it with you 6 months in.
Dude, I won't lie. After 3 years of being with someone, they got me really fucking good with this as well. They came out to me and said that they said that they had like a piss fetish.
Yeah.
And that they wanted to try experiment with water sports in the shower. And me, being the gullible, love-drunk bastard that I was, said, okay, I'd be open to it. Right? I didn't check the fucking date, did I? April 1st. Bitch got me on April 1st.
Damn.
There's one story that I keep on sharing that happened like to someone on the server from years and years and years ago, right? But it's fucking
Yeah.
terrifying because I don't know if it was a king thing, but it was he hooked up with this chick that he met off of Reddit, went to her place, did the deed. The next morning they were like in the shower, like showering and all that jazz, and she just looked at him, right, like dead eyes, just into his soul, and just put one leg above his thigh and just began peeing on him and just stared at him the entire time. He was so freaked out. But like there was no hint of like water sports before this, but he was just scarred from that night. He was like, what the fuck happened?
Wait, is that
Absolutely.
a challenge?
What did
Hold
he
on, time
say?
out, time out.
Just
Sorry,
absolute
time out.
giga chat.
Sorry,
It's
time
just-
out. Okay, no, hold on, hold on.
Energy, my god.
That's not even pee fetish. Is that a challenge? Is that This is what I'm
It
doing to
might be
you.
a
What are
whole
you gonna
alpha
do? Challenge.
domination.
Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That sounds like a
Like, yeah, it should be an
dominance
alpha
thing.
domination.
That's like a
yeah.
hey, this is what I'm doing. What are you gonna do? And pretty much, if you men see, this is gonna sound terrible to say, but if you men handle it and you lay down the pipe, yeah, like she will. Like that sounds like she will literally love you, your soul, next life, the life after. That seems like a
Sure.
challenge.
Yeah.
The thing with
Yo,
like
that's hot.
so
That
like
sounded like she was
the
barking
thing-
her territory.
the
To
thing
be
with, like,
honest.
So we've confirmed Cypher is into women like dominating him and peeing on him. Okay.
Okay, so the aspect so ingesting pee I can see as more questionable. The aspect of like piss play, I think it like I don't know, it's one of those that could seem like it could be born out from like even earlier, like more of like innate sort of like childhood experiences.
I love how
where
we
it's
try psychoanalyze
like-
like kink. It's
But
funny.
more so, it's just like in comparison to poop play, like it's just like I don't know. I can't see where that is. Just like no. Okay.
Time out. Context matters. We had sex last night. Apparently, it was so good in the morning in the shower. As you're being cleansed by the water, she urinates on you and assumes the position of left hand butt cheek, right hand butt cheek, curl that right thigh. That's different. This isn't like, hey, lay on the ground and I'm gonna piss on your face.
That's just making a mark. That's what that is. Dude.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just like,
beautifully
yeah,
said.
you
That's just like
hear about
saying,
skills on that one. It's like,
you're
oh,
not
that's
my
awesome.
property.
Yeah. But yeah, no, like if the person doesn't tell me beforehand that like it might happen in the morning or something, I just have the same reaction as him, just kind of stunned and like, what the fuck just
Yeah,
happened?
you gotta let him out.
Like-
Let him free. That's
No,
instinct.
but like if they actually give me something of a heads up that like this may happen throughout the entire day kind of thing, then I'd be all cool with the kind of thing. That as long as the keyword isn't said, I'll be willing to like play a game, you know, like basically try to establish my side of dominance and have that whole back and forth, because that shit can be really hard, you know. It's just the whole vibe
I mean,
of like
the
dominance back and forth.
spontaneity of it. The
Yeah, they piss on you,
spontaneity
you go
of
and
it.
shit on their chest. Okay, one of them to.
No, it's just like grip him, like throw something, just slam up against the wall or something, like, you know, like as the
I know,
shower water is
I've done
walking down. Like that shit, you know, like it doesn't have to be actual, like responding like, "Oh, you pee, I will poo," kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
But actually, one quick cultural thing. I'll try to keep this short. But in Indian culture, right, and Asian cultures in general as well, you may have seen this yourselves with like your friends when they see like the like grandma and at times their own parents, and there's some occasion where they just graduated or some big event happened, like a marriage or something. The child will usually bow down to the parents or like grandparents' feet and like kind of imply that like they're like kissing their feet kind of thing by kissing their hand, then touching the feet, right? And I'm surprised that while this is a big thing culturally in my culture, we don't have that many people who have feet fetishes compared to the West, which seems to have it all over the fucking place.
Well,
Well, that's a
probably
respect
because
thing,
isn't
if,
it?
if that's something that's integrated normally into like culture without it being like, you know,
A
I mean, it's
taboo
probably
thing,
because
yeah.
it's not so taboo of an action.
I guess, yeah, that does kind of make sense actually.
Like,
Takes away a bit of the
'cause
punch that way.
what that sounds to me is like my Mexican grandfather, like he would make me kiss his hand from the first day I met him to the last day I met him. You get me?
Yeah.
So it's a respect thing. I think that's the
Oh, yeah.
key difference in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, where like the kinks usually are played out from like people that you're like being chastised
Upset.
by like a superior.
Yeah,
Right,
like there is some degree of that in there where it's like you like worshiping the person for like taking care of you and being your parent or grandparent or whatever, right, for like so long. And this also happens with like teachers quite a bit from like students. But I do get what you guys mean, where there is some like level of like a domination and like a sort of like giving yourself onto the superior, but also that certain respect that it's not because you're cowering in fear, but because you love them or something tremendously, right? And the foot
Yeah,
fetish is
but-
very different.
Yeah,
from
it's like
that,
a
right?
worship
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, the inferiority, like the feeling of inferiority in comparison, yeah.
I
Yeah.
always
That once
thought
you hit that mark, it's like, yeah, that can breed a kink. Like you just hear about like certain like things, news or certain
Mhm.
facts. And it's like, yeah, that starts kinks, okay.
Yeah,
I
like-
thought the whole foot fetish thing started from like, okay, if a woman, like for dudes that are thinking like, if a woman, I'll at least take a toe type thing, right?
That's-
And then I thought that's where that started from.
At least take a toe.
Well,
I like that.
you can't pinpoint where any kink. We just don't fucking know. Like foot
Fair,
fetish is
yeah,
actually one of the
fair,
few
yeah.
things that there's some proposed
Some people-
explanation. as far as like
Mm.
why, because it's like the supposedly like the in the brain, like the sort of parts of the brain that are responsible for, you know, controlling or sending signals to move the various, you know, parts of your body. Like the genital part is like next to the foot part, and then there's like, you know, this theory that there's some, for some people, that they're close enough together that there's some like overlap sometimes, and that triggers like, you know, getting horny or
Mm.
whatever if you're like associating it with your foot, or you know, like but that's all. I mean, there's no way to really prove that. Like, I don't think, um,
Yeah, makes
at least not
sense.
with our current technological limitations, and you know,
A brain function like, hey, let's brain map these two people while they have sex, and they just do that for 1,000 different people. Learn their kinks, see what it links in the brain. Like that's when we'll probably be able to get to it then, right?
Like people have mentioned the decent thing about like a gym work and like pain and pleasure kind of thing. With people are getting like more than just like imagining the like future benefits kind of thing, rather present pleasure, because the pain receptors are apparently right neighboring next to the pleasure receptors at times. It does kind of make sense. I'm not
I
a
mean, my
neurologist,
girl
but
loves it
intuitively
when I
makes sense.
bite her in her thigh. Like she loves that. She
Mm.
loves it when I do it. She's not into foot play. She's not into any of that. But at certain times when I bite her in her thigh, it's just like, oh, okay, that yeah, But that's like after like a decade of experience together. You know what I mean? Like you learn that of each other.
Mm.
So
And
I
I
don't
don't know.
understand.
Some of that feels a little universal because I swear, like every girl has like sweet spots that, like, if you know how to push them properly, then it's like, you
You're
know,
a
it's like
good
having the
man.
key.
Yes,
You
agreed.
got the keys to the kingdom there at that point. You know.
There is one that makes a lot of sense because of how common bras are, right? But like that one spot where it like straps down kind of thing. If you can scratch or just like tease that spot kind of thing once they take it off kind of thing, it seems to be like a magic button at times. I don't know.
Oh yeah, from the nape down the spine, yeah, that's always a magic touch because it's like pretty much you holding them, telling them like, "Hey, I got you." And in my opinion, at the very least, women like that. When you touch them from the nape down and you like just slowly caress it down, it's a spot. It's always a spot. But that's like foreplay spot though.
Mm. I've heard this quite a bit from like more friends that like that spot, like especially when you just got done with like work kind of thing. It's like the perfect time kind of thing, just for like a relaxing massage, and it almost feels like tantalizing in a certain way kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's
So
intimacy.
yeah.
There's sex and
Oh,
there's intimacy. Where intimacy is like where you reach a deeper level of than just sex. Because that you remember intimacy. You don't. I mean, you don't remember your one night stand.
Oh,
I know.
I'm
I've made a few memorable ones.
Hey man, that's you. Susia, Susia, Zaref, Susia. No, I'm joking.
what
I
is
was
it?
just like,
Susie?
oh no, we were
That
tired. Yeah, Susia is pretty much like your like the dog age, that the little kid. No, shit, the cups, Jesus.
There was another thing I was gonna say. Oh yeah. For the guys in here who like have a beard, right? I was wondering like if I'm alone in this, but you know how like women claim to like enjoy having the like hair stroked. Do you guys have the same satisfaction when someone's stroking your beard?
Yeah, I
Do you
kick
guys
my
think
leg.
this or no? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sure, I'll never grow a beard to be able to answer that, but I will say having the back of my head scratched is the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, dude. Like anyone like brushing the beard, I'm just like purring like a kitten, like shit.
That's intimacy, dog. Intimacy.
Yeah, it feels
You feel
nice.
it, dog. You feel it. It feels
It
amazing.
doesn't. Dude, it doesn't have to be intimacy. Okay,
That's
because it can be
intimacy. If you're
anyone.
getting scratched
Oh,
and
true.
you feel good about that, that's intimacy. You're just laying there and you get
Yeah,
that
I
caressing
don't call
touch.
that. I ain't calling that intimacy if it's like
No?
it doesn't matter who it is.
Hmm.
Intimacy tends to imply like there's like a stronger connection between you and the person.
Right. Like for you, like a no strings attached romance play would be like a oxymoron kind of thing, right? Like there has to be like a different tone for that, basically. Would you
And
say?
you could like role play the fantasy of it being romantic, but it wouldn't be romantic, right?
Right. And in that regard, like you wouldn't call that like intimacy. This would be like role play intimacy or something, right? Like it'd be a fictionalized version of intimacy, not
Yeah,
like true intimacy.
something akin to that, but you
That
know,
makes sense.
it can still be nice. So
Yeah, that's right. Mm. It is
I'm
surprising to me
very
though as
easily
to
swayed.
how
I'm
few
very
people.
simple.
Yeah. I'm just obviously surprised by how few people are actually into like romance play. Even though I hear a lot of people claiming to like enjoy it, but
Oh
like
no, I
it's not the
reckon
sample
right.
bias.
So
Mhm.
I feel like we can save a generation of men who are incels, right?
Mhm.
And I think they can be saved through sex workers.
Hmm.
The very people who they hate and the people who can save them, right? Because I'll guarantee you, like, if they like, do you know what the girlfriend experience fingers?
Oh wait, sorry, me? Yeah.
Yeah,
GFE stuff. Yeah.
GFE experience, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, think about how many guys would probably stop being incels if they went through that experience just once.
No,
Mhm.
they
Where
would.
they
They
have,
would
where
double
they, where,
down.
where, where they have someone who like fucking teaches them how to interact with women.
Yeah.
And
Like,
on occasion, may fuck them if they're paid enough.
yeah. Like,
But
there's
see,
that one
that's
story
the
that I.
problem.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No,
Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead. No, he was talking to you.
Well,
Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Like the thing I was going to say was this one story that I think I've shared a few times, but it still breaks my heart just to even think about it. Right, the guy on the Sleep Discord who's posting M4F over and over like a few days, and I presume he got no responses. That eventually he just posted like M4A kind of thing. So he was like, anyone just hit me up kind of thing, and he kept on mentioning in the post he was just feeling a bit blue kind of thing. I just wanted a quick like cozy call kind of thing to help him go to sleep. So eventually, once he changed it to M4A after a few days, I like hit him up because I kept on saying his username, and I was just doing the usual like just generic like a broad strokes routine of just making him feel comfortable and like a bit of an affection play kind of thing to like help him go to sleep, right? And fam, it broke my heart to like hear him like whimper and I kind of start to cry. And I'm wondering like how much was this person like just needing any kind of intimacy kind of thing to basically get this done. And that actually broke my heart. I'm imagining that times 100 for like insults kind of thing. How much worse is it for them kind of thing? Like will they literally just have a breakdown or something if they're given the intimacy that they've been longing for, And that
It's
bothers me
why
a lot.
it's why I pity them, honestly. Because there's probably a lot of them out there
Yeah.
who just need some help with learning how to talk to people, but they'll never do anything about it,
But see,
or
here's
they'll
They're just
never
in
here's
this
feel
vicious
confident doing
cycle.
about it.
Yeah, they just in this vicious cycle where like they never got the experience or exposure enough growing up kind of thing, and now they're in a position where they like can't develop it either, and they just seem trapped, and that's so grim to me. It's
I
hauntingly
see it as
scary.
like I see it as like a strange form of like chronic depression or clinical depression.
Mm.
Honestly, like because like the way they act, the way that they're always stuck in a rut, like that's what it feels like.
right. But Seraph, don't you think it's a bit dangerous to give them what they need? I mean, because then you become responsible
Wait.
for them. Because once you pull that away, dog, don't you think it'll double down? It's like I had it; it felt amazing. Do you? Yes. Okay. There's going to be a couple people that pull out of it, and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna fix it so I can feel that again." But don't you think the majority of them would like just double down and be like, "I had it, I lost it, I feel even madder now," type situation?
Mm.
Like, what do you mean precisely?
I just mean, look,
When you say like double down, I mean like essentially the idea is that like you pay a sex worker for the girlfriend experience, right? So they will act like your girlfriend. They could help guide you like with how to actually approach the conversation and stuff like that. If you want to pay for like the service of sex, that's doable as well. And if it's done in a legal and well regulated manner, I mean, they're making money. These guys stop feeling lonely. They learn a little bit of social skills.
Yeah.
I
in my
mean,
opinion, that sounds like crack.
Yeah, like well,
how does that sound
thing
like
does
crap?
it does kind of make sense if you draw a parallel between this and like the whole flowers for like Algernon, right? Like going back down the pit when you've had like a taste of like sunshine kind of thing, right? Like it does kind of make sense, but I'd be hoping that like most people wouldn't end up in that. Rather, they have a taste and then also find self improvement through it. That if they self improve,
Yes,
That's what
then
I
they
that
do
mean.
so.
I would
That's like
love that. I
Yeah.
would love
Yeah,
to
pretty
see that
much.
for some of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, pretty much if there was like sex work that like prioritize the health of like those individuals, like pretty much making sure that they're getting outside or like pretty much touching grass, stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a positive ethical way to do sex work. Yeah.
Yeah, in like what Zero was like describing, like at least in my understanding of it, like it's on like the GFE, what was like the underlying the GF part kind of thing, right? And that like we're going to be having them be trying to take care of themselves. Sorry, we're going to be having them try to take care of themselves and fix things in their lives because the girlfriend or boyfriend experience would have you doing that anyway, kind of thing. And this is a critical part beyond just like, hey, have sex kind of thing, right? Like this is a big part of
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I mean, because that's essentially what you pay for if you do go for a GF experience. It's like
Yeah.
you're paying for like the company of the person, like the interaction itself, like and all that. Like you're not paying like for someone to just ride your dick for like 30 minutes.
Even though that's what it should be.
I mean,
Jesus
realistically,
Christ.
with no attachment, because I'm gonna be honest, man. With some of those dudes and like the way they speak and the way they move, it sounds dangerous for the sex worker, dude. It really does, because all it takes is one.
This is specifically why I
One
said
fucking
you could
weirdo,
probably.
right? Like,
That's why I said specifically, and like if you were to do this, you would have to do it in a country where sex work is legalized, well regulated, and there are protections in place for the workers.
Like there's literally like security guards at the like right there.
Yeah, like similar to a red light district in Amsterdam. If anyone tries on with a girl over there, they yell a little bit. Security guy comes in, you get beat the fuck up, and your money taken off you.
Yep.
So in your situation, they would live at the location. They wouldn't leave it.
No.
No. They have like
Then
a
how do
fucking
you
place to
protect
work
them at all
with.
times?
Security. CCTV.
Security.
At the facility, yes, but you don't think one of these dumb motherfuckers will sit in the bush, wait till somebody gets off, and track them down? They do that
Okay,
for
but like
strippers
but
now.
like not all like love hotels or whatever are like in like these like very remote, like most of them are like netted in like metropolitan areas and shit, there's a lot of like visibility. I don't I think
You
it could
could
be
do
well.
that. You could set this up as a genuine career path as well for some people who engage in sex work, but also want to kind of help out.
Well, doesn't Japan have like the cuddle cafes where you go in and you pay to like cuddle? Like you could do, I think that happens.
I mean, dude, you're Hooters, for fuck's sake.
I mean, personally, the idea like, some guy's just gonna pay me to just cuddle, like I don't even fucking trust it.
No,
I'd
that
pay for
look,
cuddling.
see,
I would
the-
100% pay.
I know. I think there's many guys that would actually pay for that. Just that
Hey,
experience.
hey,
It's
hey!
good alone.
Just the toe, just the toe.
Yes, the toe. Tying it back in.
All I'm saying is, I feel like you get the cuddler. You either get like a good cuddler, I guess, some chick who can like fake the feeling, because like cuddling is only nice when you're doing it with somebody who likes you and you like them. You cuddle somebody while they're just like on their fucking phone. I mean, like, I'm not paying for that shit, So
I feel like I'd make a pretty decent cuddler, but like beyond like the pacing and like breathing and like use of words and all that stuff, just that I'm kind of privileged in terms of just looking like a giant teddy bear kind of thing. That everyone I meet always calls me a giant teddy bear, and then calls me like the like cuddly bear kind of thing.
you got mad
And, like,
facial
if
hair
there
or
was a
what?
business, I do, yeah. And
Yeah.
like that, and like if I can make money off of that, I'd be like, hell yes! Oh my god!
Dude,
Every single
what?
weekend in my downtime, hell yeah, free money.
Here's the question.
I'd stop letting them call you teddy bear. You an Uso or you a grizzly? Don't let them call you teddy bear.
Jesus Christ. All right, here's a question I have. What's it like for the female side of like femcells though? 'Cause I know some women who are in pretty dark areas of thought around the sex life.
It's utterly
Elaborate.
reactionary.
No shit, incel
Yeah, like,
ideology is a reactionary ideology.
yeah, like, but it's just like the post reaction too. It's like an unnecessary gradation in the fucking whacked out ideology that comes about because like even though the shit was unsatisfactory as a basic incel ideology, it's like still we need to slap fem on it and like make it diverge. It's like we
And you know
don't
the person that coined the term incel was a chick, right?
Hey Bob,
That's
so you
sad.
don't think if incel's a thing, there's a female version of an incel? You don't think that's humanly possible?
No, they actually exist.
I think they're all
we know
all
they
incels,
exist.
They're
Damn
all
it!
Yeah.
incels. It's like, why would I slap fem on the terminology, like as if it's like it's different because now a woman is championing the notion? Like I don't think
No,
it
it's
is.
just the
Well, no,
opposite
so
of what it was. It's
okay,
just the opposite, Bob. It's just the opposite of
Why are
it.
you so
all right,
fucking triggered?
chill, like jeez.
You live
Okay,
your life.
the idea of the whole femcel ideology is kind of separated from incel simply because incel ideology, well, the community, quote unquote, is heavily male and they tend to hate women who turn them down. So, yeah, there's a general reason for the separation between the two groups.
I feel you, bro.
Oh wait, sorry. Like I was thinking like in like the more literal way kind of thing. Like in the more literal way, like incels and femcels, like in my friend circles, right? Like fortunately, all of them have been pretty chill. They just accept that it is what it is kind of thing and try to work on it, but they don't get too bogged down because there are more things in like life
Yeah,
and
most incels
outside
I
world,
meet
right?
are actually not
Women
even like.
seem to handle it
being
way
an
better than the
incel
guys.
is more of
Yeah,
an
but
ideology than
I'm
just not
gonna
being able to get
disagree.
sex, isn't it?
but yeah, like in like what I was thinking about was different from what you guys are talking about, right? Which is more of like the toxic mindset kind of thing. In that, I've definitely had like female friends who are also in that. Fortunately, most of them seem to grow out of it, and I'm hoping incels follow a similar line of reasoning. But yeah, they just stop being like
I
so like.
don't
You know.
see. I just think it's crazy because I've met quite a few women who are like 22. They consider themselves to be femcels, right? Because they can't get laid. Right? They struggle like approaching guys, but they don't like highlight this explosive hatred for guys that you tend to see from incels.
Well,
I don't know,
actually, I've
Twitter-
had the
I
opposite
see.
experience. Actually,
Really
like
hateful.
it's actually bizarre that like the femcels tend to be like the literal femcels like in my friend circles, right, tend to be very very chill and like grounded on this stuff. But it's like the mindset where they're kind of stuck up that if they were rejected, their ego is just in like shambles, right?
Destroyed.
That
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. That stuff is like cringe as fuck. But usually they kind of grow out of it. But they also do legit like hate men, like legit hate men.
It's literally the
I don't
opposite of an
understand though,
incel.
because like the femcells be looking good as fuck. Like I
Yes, because they overreach just like incels do. When you overreach enough, you get rejected enough. Guess what? All dudes are fucking assholes. Know what I mean? It's that simple, dog. It's literally that simple.
It's also a mindfuck to me because most of them are actually decently nice people. It's just that like pride and ego is getting in the way. Just chill and things are gonna be fine, you know.
That's a
It's
human
all good
thing.
too.
I deserve
Yeah.
better. I want more than what people say I deserve. And you overreach and you lose, and it's bad. You feel bad. You feel bad. You blame others.
Dude, I have
You just
the
gotta, like,
way
take it on the
opposite
chin and move
fucking.
on.
Dude, I have the way more opposite mentality. I keep everything high, right? Be an absolute fucking perfectionist, and then still fail. But I just outperform other people because of it.
I
Just,
don't
like,
want you to
reach for
snitch
the
on
stars that,
yourself.
like- yeah.
If you want, can you elaborate on that a little bit? Give us like a situation, please, if you don't mind.
Sure. I will not accept any flaws within my work ethic or my career progress, right?
Okay.
That means
okay.
I tend to overachieve in comparison to most people who are kind of like half-assing it and having lower expectations of themselves.
Yes. You're going for promotion. You're going for executive suite. Yes, Roger, go.
Perfectionism is fine as long as you're not like fucking hurting yourself doing it. There are a lot of people they have a lot of stress because they're perfectionists, either because of internally like they feel like they just can't slip up or else they're a failure, or because people around them told them that. The perfectionism shit eats up a lot of people I know from school.
Yeah. Yes. Correct. Yes.
I can't do
You
it.
over exaggerate yourself. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, people end up with like imposter syndrome and shit like that. But if you don't have any sense of imposter syndrome, right, or like lack of confidence in your abilities, you can never really improve. You need like some semblance of it there.
Yeah.
This always makes me think of the uni stuff that I've actually Jack has probably disagred with me quite a bit, but I still, even to this day, find like going through like financial reports to be kind of interesting. And even before, when they were having the whole debate about Warhammer and Games Workshop, right? I was sat there going through these sheets, and it was kind of a fun experience, you know, just trying to like figure out exactly where the debate may shift based on this information.
You're a
It's kinda
boring
fun.
person.
Hey, don't hate on him. Hey,
You
for the
hang out in a
emphasis.
politics Discord, Jackus. Come on.
Hey,
It is
politics,
some fascinating stuff.
society. As somebody that does financial, that works in finance, I just don't fucking understand people that enjoy financial statements. Like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
It's the
It's like one
mundanity,
shot
the
is like
mundanity. in
storybook.
it. It's just you're looking at numbers, you're listening to some jams, power through it.
Listen,
Yeah,
man, I
it's just
like
you
to
just view it as
game.
like an
I like to game
exploratory
addiction,
detective
right?
work thing, you know?
So
What's
what
up?
I
Go
like
on.
to do, I like to game addiction. I'm not talking about a gaming addiction. I'm talking about gaming addiction itself. So what you do is right. So